Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
Paul, today we're talking about everything you need to know about tipping when you travel.
All right.
A lot of people, this is a hot subject. They never know what to tip, when to tip.
Mm-hmm.
And so every year I tend to put together a list and say, this is what we recommend to tip.
And I think, and I don't know if we'll get too deep into it with our limited time today, but I think it's very different parts of the world, too, which I think just causes more confusion.
Yeah. Well, what we find is the world of tipping is changing, too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's who to tip, how much to tip, when to tip. Actually, we're going to talk about even when you should tip, because that has a difference. The Weekly Travel Alert is brought to you by Executive Travel. You can find us on the web at executivetravel.com. We've got an easy phone number, easy peasy, 402-435-8888. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Steve's Ultimate Travel Tipping Guide. Who to tip, how much, and why it matters. So this is my 2026 tipping guide. For restaurants and dining, this is very common. Restaurant wait staff, 15 to 25% of the bill, depending on the service. If the service is exceptional, go beyond 20%. International tipping is different. You mentioned this. And like in Italy, a lot of times they don't expect much of a tip.
No, they're compensated in a manner that it covers what their needs are.
And usually, even in Italy, like you throw a couple coins out there and it just shows, hey, we appreciate what you did. But domestically, it's a lot different.
And that's more in the countryside. When you're in the big tourist cities, Rome and Florence and places like that, they expect a tip.
I know.
So it's very different when you're out in the normal communities versus when you're in the big cities.
And I think, you say, well, I do a standard 20% tip, but it still ought to depend on how the service is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they don't fill my water glass, I'm not going to give a 20%
no,
tip.
If my glass is ever empty, then yeah, definitely going to fall short there.
Yeah, how about ice? If they don't get my thing full of ice even, but internationally they don't put ice in there.
Yeah.
All right. The buffet staff. Now, this is an iffy thing. I put $2 to $5 per person at the table, and that's if they help clear off the table and things like that. But otherwise, it's pretty moderate. Bartenders, $2 to $5, $2 to $3 per drink. Right, 15 to 20% of the tab. The restaurant host or hostess, I have $5 to $10, and room service delivery, I had $3 to $5 per delivery. And here's your favorite.
And that's in addition to the service charge,
right?
Correct on room service,
right.
Okay.
Right, and then the cigar lounge attendant. I don't know if I've ever been in a cigar lounge attendant, but I thought I better put something down there. I put $3 to $5 per setup if they assist with lighting, maintaining your experience.
Yeah, and most of the clubs that I'll go to, you're buying a drink, and so I'll tend to just do the gratuity on the drink as well. So versus them servicing you. Now, if they do come, like the local club here, if they do come out and to the table or the chairs wherever you're enjoying your cigar and look to refill your drink, then maybe I'll do something extra. But if I'm having to go up and order the drink and just do everything else with the cigar on my own, then not so much.
Hotels and accommodations. Here we go on the tipping guide for 2026, presented by Executive Travel. The Weekly Traveler comes out every Tuesday at 10:30 to about 100,000 people that subscribe to our Weekly Travel Alert. You can go to executivetravel.com and jump on our email list if you want to. Hotel housekeeping. Now, I'm really bad at this. $5 to $10 per night, but you need to leave it daily. So because the house
it can change every
day. There could be a different person in there.
Now, certain hotels, they will have standards as far as who is doing it. And a lot of them I've even seen now, especially down in Mexico, well, they'll have the name of the person that's cleaning the room left there on the nightstand.
That's usually those mucky muck hotels that you stay in. They don't do that at the Best Western that I'm at.
The Hampton Inn doesn't have that. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm really bad at this. I need to make a New Year's resolution to do a better job of tipping
When you think about it, that's the number one thing you analyze when you're at a hotel is how clean your room is.
That's right.
That's the most important thing to me.
The next one is bellhop, bell captain, $2 to $5 per bag, depending on how much they have to schlep. And it seems funny when you get out of a cab, they help you unload your luggage. Okay, there's a tip. They help bring it in. You get checked in. They take it to your room. There's another tip. Mm-hmm. If they take it to a closet to keep it in while you're doing something else, there's another tip.
A different guy every step of the way. So you can't not tip each one.
Well, the hotel concierge I had next is 10 to 20 to 20. It could be up to $50 depending on how much they got to find, like concert tickets.
I was saying, event tickets tend to be the above and beyond, and they've got their resources that they're having to pull in for those special favors with that. So I think that is where that gets to be something. One of the things that I've added, this was many years ago, but I was in New York City and I gave a $10 tip to that bellman, and all of a sudden he became my best friend. And he told me where to go. He said, "What are you guys going to do when you're here?" And I said, "Well, we're going to go to a baseball game. We'd love to find a good Mexican restaurant, sports bar that I can watch some other stuff." And he gave me all the places to go. And he actually we went to the one bar that he told us to go to, and that was his second job. So he was there when we got there, and they treated us like royalty for the night.
That's
so it was great.
Hey, the next item I had on this year's 2026 tipping guide is valet parking. I had $3 to $7 when they bring your car back. Obviously up to $10, but the valet tipping is pretty common. Hotel doorman, $3 to $5 if they hail a cab. Hotel maintenance staff, I don't know, not much on that, $5 to $10 depending on what they do. Luggage storage, $2 to $5 a piece. But that's all on the hotel side of things. And you can get doubled and triple dipped a lot in the hotels.
You can. It feels like when you get to that hotel, you're constantly in your wallet.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is once you get settled, go relax, and then you don't have to worry about it.
The other thing with tipping is it teaches you to kind of keep some smaller bills in your wallet. Mm-hmm. That a lot of ones and fives.
It's going to be interesting as you get to all this Apple Pay and all these other Venmo and PayPal and all the things, and people don't carry cash.
Yeah.
You've talked about you would rather lose your wallet than your phone.
That's right.
And so, how does that work moving forward? So it'd be interesting to see from the traveling perspective of a 20-some-year-old that's not used to carrying cash. How does this all work? And how does that impact all these people in the service industry and what they get?
And generationally, the baby boomers are used to tipping, mm-hmm. and probably the young ones aren't.
Uh-huh.
And so...
Unless they've been in the service industry.
Yeah, in the service business. Okay, we're talking about the 2026 tipping guide, Steve's tipping guide, transportation services, cab, Uber, Lyft drivers, 10 to 20% I put down. Courtesy shuttle drivers to the airport, $1 to $3 a bag. That's very helpful. Airport or train porters, $2 to $5. Private drivers, chauffeurs, 15 to 20% of the fare. And that can be $50 a day, up to $100 mm-hmm. a day if you have a whole van full of a family, mm-hmm. and you should do that. A lot of people, when they're in Italy with our Amore Italy, they always ask, "What do I tip the driver who's been with them for a week?" And I say, $5 a day times how many people are in there, and so that can be. 6 people can be $30 a day times 7 can be $200.
Well, somebody like that's going to make or break your trip.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure to show your appreciation.
And that's tour bus drivers, $2 to $5 a day. Tour guides, $5 to $20 per person per day. Wheelchair attendants at airports, $5 mm-hmm. to $20. All those people lined up in the gangway
when you get off the airplane. Yep.
Yeah. So those are very helpful to people that have mobility issues. All right, we're talking about tipping guide for 2026. Now we're on to resorts, cruises, and vacation experiences. The cruise ship staff, cabin stewards, $5 to $10 a day. Dining room waiter, $5 to $10 per day. Assistant waiter, $3 to $5, and butler, $10 to $20 per day.
But haven't you noticed over the last 5 to 10 years, they've started just automatically putting this on your room charge,
making it easier for you.
If you don't want it to be done, you have to go stand in line and change it up. So, I think 20 years ago, that was a majority of what a lot of the cruise ship staff, what they made was what people gave them on that last night.
Yeah.
Now the cruise ships have kind of guaranteed what a lot of these people are making, and
I think it doesn't make them quite as hungry
exactly.
to do a great job of service.
But you've also got, going along those same lines, you've got certain ships in certain markets like Hawaii where they're U.S. flagged, to where the service has dropped because they don't have to work as hard for it.
Yeah, and they get paid real wages, whereas if you work in the Philippines on a foreign flag ship, you may get
minimum wage is different. It's
a
$15 minimum wage. So they work a lot harder.
All right, if you're in the cruises, here's a tipping guide for 2026. Pool and beach attendants, $5 to $10 a day. Ski valet is $5 per day, $20 for the week. Golf caddies, $25 to $50. Fishing guides, 15 to 20% of the total. So we're going like lickety split through here. We talk private yachts or boat crew. There you go, Paul. 15 to 20% on those private yachts that you go on. And villa staff. We've got a house managers, $50 to $100 per stay. Cleaning staff, 20 to 40. Private chef, 10 to 15%. Drivers during the stay, $20 to $40 per day. So that's a lot of the tipping that you go on for the villa staff. Other services that you might not think about, Paul. This is our tipping guide for 2026. Once again, the shoeshine attendant.
The Denver airport.
The Denver
guys.
Yeah. You ask them, what do I owe you? And they say, whatever you think it was worth.
They don't have a price.
Yep. They don't have a price. Now, that's fantastic. It's basically saying, hey, whatever you think. But the reality of it is I usually slip them a $20 bill.
That's what I do. $20. They've taken 10 to 15 minutes of their time.
Well, it's the best shoe shine in the world.
Yeah. I need to go back through there. I got some shoes that need a little polish.
How about the spa and salon services? 15 to 25%. Makeup artists, I don't really know much about that, but 15 to 25. Photographers, resorts or tours, $5 to $10 if they help capture a great photo. And one important thing, how about your travel advisor? It's not required, but I'm sure that travel advisor would appreciate a tip if they went above and beyond and helped you make your travel easy.
I know that the ladies down there, it's not uncommon for warm cookies or bouquets of flowers to show up after they've done that amazing trip, and somebody comes back and they went above and beyond.
Here's how I look at tipping. If someone made your trip easier, smoother, more comfortable, more fun, and saved you time, tip them.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. And, of course, you all are welcome to tip the writer of the weekly travel alert, all right? I do accept tips and Venmo.
Do you do Venmo? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Venmo.
That answers that question from earlier. I got it now.
I'm high tech there, Paul. Hey, thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. Again, I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn. Please like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or feedback on topics that would be of interest for future episodes. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.